to the cloud. Okay, hopefully it is recording. Okay, so I'm going to explain everything that I have out here right now. This is TGAAL, I'm not sure how you say it, pencil sharpener that somebody recommended to me. And the numbers on here indicate how deep it will cut. And the depth of the cut is, let me show you on one of these pencils. See how the difference between these?
Oh, yeah.
So this is a really deep cut. This is a shorter cut. And that's because on some of these softer pencils, they'll break easily.
Yeah.
Keep breaking if it's too long like this. So make sure your pencils are sharp. These other two sharpeners are just what I use for my graphite pencil. I keep a mark on here. This one says black. So I know that it's just for this one. And then this one I have a W, and I only use it for my white charcoal pencil. The white can leave a residue on your sharpener that can affect your other pencils. So I keep those all separate. So that's what those are all about. So what we're going to use for today are the different colors of pencils, and hopefully you have some sets of pencils that you want to use for this, plus white. And this is a Prismacolor, and then this one is Staedtler. The two kinds of colored pencils, well, I have three kinds of colored pencils. I have watercolor pencils, and then I have Prismacolor Premier. And you know, when I bought this set of pencils, I thought, well, 36 is a pretty good range of colors. It's not for me.
Yeah.
But it's still a good set. And then this was a set that was recommended to me. It's Staedtler Ergo Soft. And that's what I'm going to use today for mine. But I have found that almost any colored pencil will work. I have done this with my granddaughter's Crayola pencils, and it works fine. The nice thing about the Prismacolor and the Staedtler is it's kind of a waxy lead, and so it builds up, and that's part of what gives you the nice color on your gemstones.
Yeah. Can I see how that Staedtler was spelled again?
Yes.
Please.
It is Staedtler.
Oh, I did get it right. It just looks so weird.
Yeah, it is. And these are called Ergo Soft.
Okay.
And it's got a pretty good range of colors in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and then you guys should have gotten one of these Prismacolor colorless pencils.
Yep.
In your kit. Did everybody find theirs?
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Okay.
Ah, yes.
Okay. You don't have to have it, but it is nice to use. And then we're going to use a Jelly Roll tin. And you should have had one of those from class also. Okay. Okay, let's bring this one back. So for one of the things that's important with, zoom in, with these ZenGems is knowing your light source. Normally when we're working on just a Zentangle tile, we don't care about light source because you're going to want to turn your tile any direction in the classic Zentangle and not worry about where the light and the shadows fall. But for the gemstones, we're going to try to understand which direction the light is coming from. So in this one, the light is coming from this direction and goes through the stone and is reflected down here at the end. Same here, the light source is coming from this direction. On this orange one, it's going like this. So if you're going to put several gemstones on a tile, you're going to want to make your light source come from the same direction. So this kind of shows you how it would be. So if your light source is coming from here, you're going to have a shadow and highlight, and that's this part. So it's darker at this end, and then your reflected light is down here at this end. If you have an indirect light source, like the light is coming from the top and going down on your Zengem, then you would have a darker shadow all the way around and a balance of reflected light in the center. What we're going to do today is just a direct light source. So I tried to find a few pictures of actual gemstones on the internet, and this shows you some clear ones where you can see how the light source is here and it's reflected down at the bottom, and same on this one, and how it's reflected out on this side. Okay?
Okay.
And as you work on these, this is how we're going to do it. So for this first one that I'm going to show you, I'm going to use these colors. And we're going to work in layers. So my first layer, some people work from the lightest to the darkest. I like to work from dark down to the light. So we're doing similar to this. And we're going to have an area that's dark. And then I'm going to add purple, and that's going to cover this one too. And then I'm going to come back with the blue. And these are just the combinations I've come up with. And then we end up with something like this. Okay? Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. So if you have your tile, I'm not going to do any kind of border. We're just going to start with the gemstones. And I'm going to use a PN. Just, you could use an 01, 03, whatever you have. And over in this corner, I'm just going to start with a round gemstone. This one about the size of a quarter. So just make a circle. Now I'm going to start with my darkest color. This one, it doesn't say, but it's a dark blue. And when you put your colors down, do it in kind of a circle. And that keeps you from having harsh lines.
Oh, what a good idea.
So just kind of softly for now. And then soften that edge a little bit. And there are some gemstones where some people put 4, 6, or more colors. But I'm just going to show you how to do it with a few colors, and then you can experiment with adding more colors. And what I like to do is to keep my pencils in the order that I've used them when I start doing more than 3 colors. And then as I finish with one, move it to the end. Okay. So now I'm going to add the purple. And I'm going to go over what I already have. Okay. So I'm going to come up into that. And then I'm going to come down into the gemstone. And I'm going to bring a little color down along the edge. Don't make it too wide though. With the Prismacolor and the Staedtler colors, it will begin to layer up, build up the colors. On this screen, mine looks more blue, but on my page, it's a little bit more purple. But it'll change as we go along. Okay. And now we're going to add the third layer. And you can begin by putting a little bit of a circle down here to remind yourself that you don't want to fill that part in. I don't know if you can see that.
Okay, so it goes all the way
You
down.
want to leave it white. Let me go ahead and put this around here. Okay, so you want to leave an area down here that's white. And then we're going to, again, use this color and in a circular motion, go all the way back over the other 2 layers. And put some color along the bottom. Making sure you leave that white space in the middle, at the bottom. Okay, so next we're going to use white. And we're going to go over everything that we've already put on there. And it's okay to be a little bit heavy on this one because this is going to help blend those colors. And it adds another thickness and glossiness to it.
Do you go over the white part?
You can, but sometimes it smears it, which doesn't matter. I mean, it just kind of helps it look natural because no stone is going to be totally clear down there. But for the moment, I'm going to avoid it.
No, too late.
That's okay. It'll make it look natural. It's okay. Yeah, and you do need to be careful as we do these next layers. Sometimes it will start making some of that other color come up on your paper, and just kind of brush it away easily. If it gets on your page, it's okay. We're going to put a tangle around it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing again. I have the darkest color. I'm going to go back up and go over that same area. Again, in circular motions. Because what we're doing is we're adding shadows on here too. So you want the very rim of this to be the darkest. And you can come around a little bit with that darkest color and bring it right next to the edge, even at the bottom. We're going to add a little bit there. When you add shadows, it means that that edge is moving away from you, and the lightest part means that it's up closer to you, and that's how a cabochon or a gemstone would look naturally. So go ahead and add a layer on there. Don't be afraid to push down on it. And then we're going to add your next lighter color, which mine is purple. I'm not sure what color you guys are using. And add just a tiny bit on the edge at the bottom, but don't make that wide. I'm going to bring just a tiny bit of purple down into this blue so it's not as obvious. And then again, I'm going to add another layer of blue that covers everything. And then when you have that, one more time with the white. And I'm going to go ahead and go over that white spot too. Okay, then the last thing that we're going to use is that colorless blender. We're going to go over it all. And this, if you have any harsh lines, that tends to blend those together. And it'll soften that white area at the bottom. If you don't have the colorless blender, then you would just stop at that point. It's still going to look good. Okay, then are y'all ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So the last thing we're going to use is our Jelly Roll tin. And we're going to add the highlights at the top, like I have on these. This was two that I did when I was practicing. This is with Prismacolor, and this is just with crayon pencils. So that's what I'm saying. You don't have to go get expensive pencils. If you already have something at home, you can make them work. Okay, so up here, because we put that white part at the bottom, our highlight is going to be up here. I'm going to put just a little bit of a round dot towards the top and a little curve next to it, and then bring it down to a point. People do it different ways. This is one of the ways that you can do it, and have that curve match the top. Some people put a little dot at the bottom. If you want that brighter, you can wait till that dries and put a little bit more white on top. Okay.
Okay.
Did you guys have another color to use? A set different color pencils?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
And the next one we're going to do is an oval. So a little bit over to this side, I'm just going to do a bit of an oval. And I'm going to use the dark green, lighter green, and the yellow. Okay. So again, we're going to start, and we're going to do a little bit further down on this one. So towards this top is going to be my darkest green. Little circles. I'm going to add my lighter green. And I'm bringing some of that color down along the bottom, slightly. And don't be afraid to put a good layer of color on there. If you practice these a lot, you'll get an idea of what to do. And then I'm putting the yellow over both of those. And white on top of all those.
Are you going to give us step outs for this?
Yes,
Good, thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, when I took the class on this, it was one that I paid for, and when it was all over, you know, the next day or a few days later, we came back, I was like, wait, what did we do?
Yeah, yeah.
Does help to have the reminders. When my sister asks me a question about something that needs good memory, I just look at her and she goes, oh yeah, okay, never mind.
I learned very early on to quote Einstein, who, when people would berate him for not memorizing his phone number, he said, why? It's in the book.
You know, I got a phone book in the mail the other day. Does anybody use a phone book anymore?
No, no.
Yeah,
Mine go immediately in the recycling.
yeah, exactly. I mean, if I need a phone number, first thing I do is to go to Google and look it up.
Yeah.
We're doing 2 layers of each color. I'm on my white now.
Okay.
There are some people who do 3 or 4 layers. It just depends on how much you want this to look like an actual glossy gemstone. And if you look on Facebook or Instagram, and if you use the hashtag ZenGems, you end up finding some beautiful examples of things that people have made. Okay, so I'm on my second layer of dark green. And I'm going to bring some of that dark green down along the bottom, just to try to make that right next to the edge look darker. I want that to look like a shadow along there. It looks black on the screen. Let's see. We'll try a different lamp. Ugh. Just a little bit. Okay. And if you really push into the colors that are below that, it helps to blend them. And before you put the blender on there, there's sometimes you'll see what they call inclusions. The little lines that would naturally be in a gemstone, imperfections.
Oh, yeah.
And if you
Okay.
want to, over that lightest area, you can take your darkest pencil, or you can even take a graphite pencil and just make some little squiggly lines. And I'm taking my blender pencil because it still has some purple on it, and I'm going to wipe that off the back of my tile before I use it again. So I'm not putting purple on this. It will probably look fine. Looks really ugly on the screen, but mine looks fairly decent here.
You have advice on getting close to the edge without bleeding over, or just ignore it?
Just don't worry about it.
Okay,
We're going to put something around it, and you really won't notice it.
okay, good.
One thing that helps that I forgot to mention, if you start losing your original black line, it can help to go around it again after you have all your colors down. Redefine your outline, and that will help.
Okay.
I'm going to do that on the first one too. Just remember, if you've already put your jelly roll down, to be careful to not smear it. You can do these ZenGems in any shape. If you have an open area on a tile that you've done, but you're not sure what to put in it, you could put a ZenGem in there. Okay, so the last shape we're going to do is something more like this orange one. So down in this area, and you can make these as big or as small as you want on this tile. Let's see. Leave space around this first one. We're going to put a little bit of a pattern around it. So down in this corner. And then these are the colors that I'm going to use. So I'm going to start with a red, an orange, and a yellow. And then I'm going to do them all so that it looks like they have the same light source. So I'm going to put my darkest area up here. Now I'm adding orange. And I'm going to bring it along the bottom just a little bit. Now I'm adding yellow along the bottom. And on mine, I can see obvious line. I don't know if you can. Let's see. But I don't want to see an obvious line. So when I start doing my second layer, I'm just going to blend it down, especially this orange. I see an obvious orange and then the yellow. So I'm going to blend it down a little bit when I come back. So it's not so obvious. Layer of white. I'm bringing some of that dark color along the bottom now. So there's a lady in the UK in Wales, Joanna Quincy, that I've taken some classes from, and she has a Tangle Club that she does every Thursday. I'm not going to be able to do it next month because of babysitting, but yesterday she was out bicycling and somebody backed their car out, didn't see her coming. She hit their car.
Oh, no.
She had her helmet on, and she did hit her head. She said her head was okay, but she broke her right hand, her little finger on her right hand.
Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah, she's still going to teach tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes.
Well,
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a double whammy. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it, but then I'm sure she's still in pain.
Yeah, she's got to be sore.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to use my graphite pencil this time to add very lightly some occlusion lines. Let's see if you can see what I added there. Just very tiny. It's almost like you're looking at a map from a distance, and those are little bitty rivers. Can you see that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I've pulled out my black, and I'm gonna just add a little bit of shadow right along the edge of this, very lightly. Give it a little bit more depth. There are a lot of videos on YouTube on how to do these, and Annie Oken, I don't know if you've heard of her. She has an art club. She's a CZT. She puts down layers of black and gray before she even starts on this, but I like just less work. Okay. Then I'm going to soften that. Like I say, you can keep working with these until it looks the way you like it. If you've ever watched Maria Thomas do her videos, she always has ink on her finger right here.
Yes, I noticed that.
She'll clean it there. And your little highlights on each side don't have to be exactly the same. And I'm going to redefine my line around this one. I accidentally made it kind of thick, so I'm just going to make it thick all the way around. And then around this one that we've just finished, and I'm not rushing you because this is just something you can do when you're ready. I'm going to put like little tipples. I'm going to put 2 small and then one a little bit bigger. as if this is in a setting that you would put for jewelry. Making sure if you've done your jelly roll that you don't touch that. It's still wet. And I have found when I'm putting orbs right next to each other like that, if I will start in at the side of the one that I just put and then come back around and end at that same side, I'm less likely to have a mark that shows up. And then I'm going to put an aura around the outside. So that's just a simple way to finish a cabochon gemstone. And I'm going to show you two other patterns that you can do. One is called Mendi Bloom. It's MEHNDI Bloom. And the other one is Mendi Drop. And they're both by Ina Sonnenmoser. That's SONNENMOSER. And she does the website Pattern Collections, pattern-collections.com. Okay, So the first one we're going to do is the Mindy Drop, and I'm going to put it around this green one. And you start with just a little crescents like this all the way around. Doesn't have to be very big. Little half moons. And mine are very inconsistent. Okay. And then in between each one of these, you're going to add kind of a tall petal and two small petals all the way around. And then inside of each one of these, we're just going to add a little bit of an aura. Well, the one that we just did is the Mindy Drop. That's this one. And the next one is going to be Mindy Bloom. And for that one, we're going to put Let me actually show you how it's going to end up looking so you have an idea of what I'm doing. This is what we're doing, except we're not going to put this ring around it. We're not going to put these perfs, but you put like 5 or 6 of these little moons around it, and then we're going to do the petals. So first we're going to put those little half moons. Fairly good size. And then we're going to come up and then make a little dip and come back down for each one of these petals. Come up, about the same size, dip, and come back down. If you're close to your other one, then you're going to do draw behind. I think that's just going to make it. And again, this one is Mindy Bloom. And I rarely get all my petals the same size. And then I'm going to aura just a line right at the very top. And it doesn't have to touch the edge on each side. And then if you want to color this with the same pencils that you used before, what I did was I took the darkest blue and I'm just going to highlight that area where I put that line or darken it. And then I'm just going to softly color these in. Whoops. With the purple. You can do this any way that you want. This is just an idea. And then I'm going to try the soft blue. These little half moons. I'm cleaning the orange off my white pencil. And then I'm going to go over these and just soften them, blend them with the white. And I'm pushing pretty hard just because I want to take away from any lines if I can.
You knew I'd have to show up for this class, Barbara, since it was coloring.
I knew you would. I knew you'd be happy, Jane.
Yes, I was thrilled.
I got a subscription to Skillshare, and I've been watching a lot of watercolor classes.
Oh, that's great. Have you learned a lot?
Well, not yet. I'm still I'm a very beginner, but yeah. Okay, I'm going to use my colorless blender, and again, I'm cleaning it on the back. I'm also going to sharpen it. Okay, so I have this one set on 2, and that's how it sharpens it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I
And
really like this.
was it expensive?
No, I think I got it at Amazon. And I have a little bit of that purple when I come down into the blue, and it changes that a little. to mix the colors together. That's the first one that I did. And you could shade it however you want, leave it, you know, without any color. Now I'm not going to add any more on this tile, but you could put a whole pattern behind it if you wanted to. One thing I've seen people do is use their graphite pencil and they'll just very lightly add top or something like that. I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't, right there. And then just kind of smear it. What do you think so far? Are you happy with what you've done?
Oh, yeah, this is great.
Mhm.
Cool.
Love it.
So these are done. This is on a gray tile. This is tiles that I got from Amazon. This is tiles that I cut myself. And I think you guys got some of this gray
Yeah.
and then tan. The tan will usually show up, colors will show up okay on tan and the gray. But if you're going to try to do this on a colored tile and you want it to show up, then you're going to have to put a layer of black. So on this tile, I'm just going to do like this and draw a simple flower with my Jelly Roll. Just simple petals. Make them kind of fat. And then give your Jelly Roll time to dry. And then in order to get your colors to show up on black, you're going to have to fill these in with white. So I'm going to do a pretty good heavy layer there. Inside of each one. And you can do the same thing on the gray and the tan. And it'll make your colors look better. Okay, and then I'm just gonna start now. This is my darkest blue. And then again in circular motions. Now, if I do this on the back, see how you don't see that blue? Barely.
Yeah.
See it here. Well, maybe you can. It shows up. And then I'm going to add my lighter blue. And on this one, I'm just going to add 2 colors. But I'm going to go over it again. So put my blue, the darker blue. And the lighter blue. And cleaning that colorless blender on the back. And then I'm going to go over it all. And that will smooth out that white a little bit and help blend.
Mm-hmm.
This. And then I'm going to add a little bit more white down here for highlight. And then do that again. And I used my white gel pen to add a little bit of highlight here at the center. You can see that. I'm not going to finish filling this one in. I just wanted to show you how you can do that on a black tile. What I also want to show you is, let's say your gel pen runs out. So two things to show you here. This is just plain cardstock. My pen is running out. And I'm going to do this with the pencil just so you can see it. If you knew that you didn't have a way to add the white highlight here, you could kind of mark it and say, I want to add a circle here and a little bit of the line here. See that?
Not really.
Okay, let me make it a little bit darker. If you're actually doing this, you wouldn't make it dark. Okay?
Oh,
So
okay.
that's where the highlight's going to be. And I'm just going to use two colors here. I'm going to use the green and the yellow. So up here at the top, I'm going to fill that in like I would on the other one. But I'm not going to color where I put those lines, because that's going to be my highlight. And then I'm going to start adding my yellow down here at the bottom. And add it with the green. Bringing a little green down here along the bottom. So you can do these with just two colors. You can do it quick and easy. Where your little highlights are, you're going to want a little bit of darkness for sure around that. And I got my white. And then my blender. I like it better with the Jelly Roll highlight, but you can do it this way. The other thing I want to show you real quick, have I shown you how to do a dewdrop?
No.
Dewdrop.
Like a water drop. So for a water drop, I'm just going to put a small circle and then fill it just the top with a shadow very lightly. Keeping to the curve. And just bring it down very gently at the bottom. And then get your blender and soften that. And then if you still have the graphite on your pencil, we're going to just put a slight shadow down here. I'm going to darken this so you can see the circle a little bit better, so you know what I've done. And then with your Jelly Roll, put a dot on top. So it looks like a water drop. If you can see my white very well. You may need to put more white on top. These are some of the other things that I've done. There's another one on black.
Wow. So what colors did you use with that? A brown?
Wow. I used Prismacolors, but I'm not sure. I did this probably back in October or November.
Oh, okay.
The red. And it's,
Very pretty.
here's one where I colored the leaves a little bit, and then I put the Jelly Roll highlight out here on the Muka. These are a lot better in person. For some reason, the colors just don't show up well on this. But there's one in green. And then this is one I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors plus white and silver on this.
Wow.
Trying to make it look like an opal. And some of it I blended a little bit with Gamsol. But if you look, like I said, if you look at that, either, I don't know if any of you have a subscription to the Zentangle Mosaic, but you can find a ton of pictures either in Facebook or on mosaic of the gemstones. This is just on sketchbook paper. And then these are not mine, and I'm not sure how well they'll show up. But there's a lady on Facebook who does this one. Okay, now you can see those a little bit better. She does some crazy stuff with these.
Wow.
So with the inclusions, she just adds all kinds of colors. And then this is what I was trying to recreate.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like it, just play with it. I find if I do it too much, my hand starts hurting, but have fun with it and put them inside of your tangles and just enjoy it. Here's one with one is Indala. I think this is one that I sent you guys with the information about the class. So I put a big one in the middle and then just finished with Zeppel and put more little gemstones in the middle of that and tried to keep my light source coming the same way.
Yeah, and what's the pattern you used around the big star?
Actually, it's just little half moons with flux in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Little,
Now I can see flux.
Okay.
Okay.
and then here I had an oops. I think I had a line that went across like this, and I decided I wanted a big gemstone, and I tried covering the line with white, and it shows up all the way through. All right, lady.